Hello, fourth graders. This is Mrs. Castett, and I am going to be going over your weekly vocabulary words for Unit 6, Week 5. It is our last week of vocabulary words. We are finishing up our reading book, which is totally awesome. You guys are nearing the finish line of this at-home learning, and we are so proud of you and all that you have done. So we are going to go through our last set of words. I'm going to share my screen here with you, and we will get started. All right, so here we go. Our first word is astronaut. Say astronauts. Okay, astronauts. This is, at first it took me a second to see what was even going on in this picture. I couldn't really tell. But if you look at this, you can see there's some sort of white, maybe not a building, but some sort of device that there are these two people that are in. So I want you to think about what an astronaut is, what you know about that. Go ahead and pause here if you want. All right, an astronaut, again, you see these two people, you see some important words here. You see NASA, and you guys know what astronauts are. Astronauts are pilots or members of the crew of a spacecraft. So of a spacecraft that's going into space. These astronauts are members of that crew. Some of them work to fly it. They would be considered the pilots. Some of them are just part of the crew. Some things about astronauts is that they have to do a lot of training physically, emotionally, mentally to be able to handle being in that space, because it can be very hard on you mentally and physically. So that is an astronaut. Your next word is capsule. All right, say capsule. So this is showing you, it kind of looks like a megaphone kind of thing. It's not. It says United States on it, so you probably think it has something to do with the United States. It's important. I want you to think about what a capsule might be. And pause here if you want, if to talk about it with someone around you or think about your meaning. A capsule is an enclosed section of a rocket that is made to carry instruments, astronauts, and other things into space. So this is designed to carry some of the tools, maybe even some of the people into space. That's part of the rocket, and it takes things into space. A lot of times the capsule stays, it can be separated from the rocket as well. So just something cool to think about. That is a capsule. All right, your next word, fourth grade, is hatch. Hatch. So you might already be thinking, well, I know of a different hatch, like when a bird hatches out of an egg or an animal hatches out of an egg. But this is a little bit of a different definition. So I want you to look at this. You can see, again, we're in some sort of device or building it with a weird kind of door, it looks like. So I want you to think about what hatch might mean, and you can talk to someone around you if you'd like, or you can just think about it, and we will go through it here. A hatch is a trap door covering an opening in an aircraft or ship's deck. So the hatch of this capsule is open. So again, we are on the capsule. If we go back up here for a second, there's a hatch door inside of that. And to get inside that capsule, you use that hatch, and it's, again, it's like a trap door. It's very secured when it's closed, so that different things can't escape out of that door, like even air, probably, things like that. But when it's opened, it's just almost like a doorway. So it's a trap door covering an opening. Your next word is horizon, and I know this is one you've talked about, that we've talked about in art. I know Miss Linda talked about it. I know their artists and residents have talked about it. So I want you to think about what a horizon is. Okay, so here you can see a sunset or a sunrise is happening. So think about horizon. Horizon, you look at this picture, you can see this line right down the center here. Horizon is when you look in the distance, when you're driving and you look out in front of you, it's where the sky meets the earth. The horizon is the skyline or the line where the earth and the sky seem to meet. So here it looks like the water is touching the sky. We know that's not happening, but that line where those two things meet is called the horizon. A couple more words left. Lunar. Say lunar. Okay, lunar. So here we see a picture of the moon. That's all I see. I mean, there's details on the moon. But think about what lunar is. You've probably heard things like a lunar eclipse, things like that. Think about what lunar means. Lunar is pretty simple. It's anything having to do with the moon. So when we are talking about things that are lunar, we are talking about things that have to do with the moon. So that's why they showed us simply a picture of the moon, because the lunar is anything having to do with the moon, okay? Your next word is module. Say module. Module. Okay, I want you to think about what module means. Think about it. You can pause the video here, talk about what you think a module is. Again, this obviously has something to do with space. I think we have that in common with many of our words this week. They all kind of have to do with outer space. But this looks like something that's floating in the atmosphere, right? Something important maybe that we learn things from scientifically. A module is a self-contained unit or system within a larger system, often designed for a particular function. So it says like the sound module for a stereo system is broken. So you have a stereo system or you have a set of speakers that make things sound better, and there's a module inside that that helps the sound actually work, okay? Henry made a bookcase by stacking one module on top of another. So when he takes the wood and he stacks it, nails it together, that's different modules that make one bigger thing, okay? So it's one part of a whole system. All right, and our last word. Well, isn't this fitting for what's going on in our world right now? This word is quarantine. And this is a word you have heard over and over again in the last couple months. What does it mean to quarantine? We've seen pictures like this. We've seen pictures of people wearing these masks, of people wearing special gear. It says do not enter. So what does it mean, quarantine? Think about that. The quarantine means to isolate and take other measures to prevent the spread of an infectious disease. So we all know that COVID-19, the coronavirus, we are taking measures right now. We're not completely quarantined, but people who get that virus are quarantined. So if someone was diagnosed with COVID-19, they are quarantined for 14 days, which means they cannot leave their house or wherever it is that they are when they were diagnosed. They cannot leave there for 14 days because they want to help prevent the spread of that disease. So quarantine definitely relates with our life right now. So those are our words this week. Hopefully they are something you enjoy learning about. And just remember, this is our last vocab. So I am super excited and super proud of how hard you guys have worked during this whole quarantine. Great job. Bye.